Randy Davison, LiveWeatherBlogs.com, student meteorologist here, with a severe weather outlook for today, Wednesday, the first day of fall. And it's going to be a busy first day of fall here in Nebraska, South Dakota, Minnesota, and Iowa, and also in the Northeast, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, New York City, Boston, down to Washington, D.C., chances of severe weather. Two distinct areas of possible tornadic development. The strongest area is going to be the Omaha area, South Dakota, here in the Midwest. And the secondary area, Philadelphia, Atlantic City, New York City, also have a probability of tornadoes. Looking at hail, the hail probabilities are strongest out in the Midwest, large hail, baseball size possibly. And wind, two areas, South Dakota, Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska, and a generalized area in the same area that we have the slight risk in the Northeast. Now we're going to go take a look at some sounding data. We're going to look at the sounding data here out of the DC area, Baltimore. You have southerly winds change up to the westerly winds, increase a little bit with height, not extremely sufficient for tornadic development, but definitely a possibility. Now looking in Omaha, it's definitely a better probability. You have northeast winds changing to a west wind and definitely increasing with height. Definitely good for significant hail and tornadoes in that area. So that's an area that would be more distinct. 13,210 feet is freezing level. Good lifting index and good cape. Just look at a area where you can see the temperatures, the dew points, highest here in Southern Delaware, but it's creeping up through New Jersey, so that'll definitely keep that going pretty well. And the winds out of the southwest, which is going to give you the flow to get these storms. And you can also see how the jet stream is dipping into the area, and that's going to be what's going to shut off these thunderstorms and possible tornadoes with the spinning of the turning of the air with height here in the northeast. We'll look at the Midwest momentarily. We have good shear profile at this time out in the west, but that'll pull in here to the further east as the day goes along, and that'll definitely increase the probability of tornadic activity and damaging winds. As you see, your cape's definitely building up here in this general direction. So this is going to increase the probability this afternoon, as I said, with jet coming across a low-level jet. That's what causes tornadoes later this afternoon. Let's take a look at the Midwest now. We do at this time have a severe weather watch in this general area, but probability tornadoes increase later as this 1500 in the Cape from in the moisture content pushes into this area. Low-level jet comes over the regular jet stream, and we get a lot of turning of the height. This area would be an area I would definitely look out for. Omaha, Nebraska, up through Des Moines, your best chance for tornadic activity. You definitely see there is wind shear here. Pretty good building over the area. There's already a significant tornado possibility further out in the west here, so this is all going to build in and make issues later this afternoon. We're going to take a real quick look at the radar in the Midwest, and then we're going to take a quick look at the tropics. Take a look at some cells developing. One here. A lot of these generate 3 thunderstorm warning, but we do have one right here, northwest of Sioux City, that's generated a tornado warning, and that's moving to northeast in to the area. We got Lisa, general direction, and this very slowly. We have this area, which is getting a much better probability of development here in the Caribbean as it moves to the west and west-northwest. And we'll take a look real quick at the computer models on this general one, because this could be more of a threat to the United States. Here's a GFDL model. It does develop this, puts it into the Yucatan, and then stalls it. There's an issue right there, stalls it. We'll see Lisa comes into the view here, and here's the other system. It pops up, develops, moves it to the west, then brings it back out into the Caribbean Sea, which, between the weakening situation, may draw this up into the Gulf of Mexico. And it develops it rather distinctly. As Lisa kind of fades. HWRF model has a different solution. This moves it to the west-northwest, brings it up, and then draws it between Cuba and the Yucatan Peninsula, which will put it in the Gulf of Mexico. NOGAFS, on the other hand, also does something with this. It moves it west and then west-northwest, and it does turn it right towards Cancun, Mexico, as for our landfall area, and then back over top of Cancun and then back into the Gulf of Mexico, which could be an issue because then you got the two weaknesses in the high, like we were discussing before, which would allow the system to move into the Gulf of Mexico. And if it does get into the Gulf of Mexico, we know how that works. With the 90-degree water temperatures, that would blow it up extremely quickly. So going over what we went through today, we have severe thunderstorm watch currently in the upper Midwest, and we also have a probability of severe thunderstorms in the Northeast. Tornadoes possible. Davison risk factor updated. This is for the Midwest. 90% wind, 70% hail, 40% tornadoes in the Northeast. 60% wind, 50% hail, 30% tornadoes. A little bit better than isolated. Other than that, this is Dean D. Davison, liveweatherblogs.com, severe weather outlook for Wednesday.